I'm Stacy.
Hey, I'm Steph.
Welcome to Harnessing Your Power,
where we discuss everyday topics to break through the stigma and harness our power through self-mastery.
Tune in every Tuesday to join us in conversation as we dig deep into our minds and get closer and closer to our highest self. Hello. Oh, thank you.
I'm late today.
No worries. It's been one of those days.
It really has. But a great day. Productive. How's your day been? How's everybody doing? Whew, I just ran over here.
I love it. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay.
You sound good.
Cool. You're a little bit hard to hear.
Oh no.
It's good enough. But just.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
My day has been great though. I was just saying it's been a long day. I'm on my second yerba mate of the day.
I love it.
How about yours?
It's been an amazing day. Hello, Tashay. Hi, Lovey. Josh.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing day, very productive. And I finally went grocery shopping because we hadn't gone grocery shopping and I felt like I needed some food in my life.
Yes. Honestly, I feel like, especially as entrepreneurs, it gets so easy to go through the whole day and then be like, I didn't eat.
Yes.
And I'm really trying to remind myself that food is fuel and that it's worth taking the time to pause and eat. Especially if we want to have some breakthroughs, which is what we're going to talk about today. And I'm super excited to talk about this because Steph and I both attended an amazing event this past weekend that really propelled a lot of breakthroughs for myself. And I can't wait to talk about it. So to get started, like how we like to sometimes, I did want to ask a question to Steph and to all of you who are tuning in, and that is, what is a breakthrough to you? Or what's your definition of a breakthrough?
So, literally, I love that this is your question, but I definitely said I was going to look up the definition, like the textbook definition before this, and I didn't. But I feel like I definitely... Thank you, Austin. I definitely want to get some other people's definitions before I kind of just go straight into that. So if you guys want to let us know what your definition of a breakthrough is, I would love to get some insight. Let's see. I also didn't send it to some of our regulars, so I'm going to do that.
Yes. So for people who are just joining, hi, welcome. And we are looking for some input from you guys, from our viewers, about what a breakthrough is to you, or what your definition of a breakthrough is. Doesn't have to be super long, sophisticated, any quick little thing, or maybe just one word you think of when you think of breakthrough.
All right, cool.
We need to get like that waiting music.
Literally, when you're met with resistance and adversity and find a way around / through it, whether that be through innovation or willpower, etc. Passing a threshold that is something that was holding you back. I love that. That is both of those are amazing. Wow, thank you guys. Realization or discovering something dramatic. Ooh, I love all of these answers. Yes, that definitely did make sense. So I feel like for me, a breakthrough is, yes, the realization of something. And I don't even want to say that it's something dramatic, but I can see where you're saying that, but more like that's going to have a big impact on yourself or those around you. Something that shifts your perspective or shifts your mindset in a way that you can now better yourself or better those around you. That is what I would say my definition of a breakthrough is. And sometimes I feel like it's also that one thing that you already maybe knew, but then you hear it from somebody else, or you hear it from a different story, or you hear it again, and then you're just like, wow, yes,
Right.
now it makes sense. Now it all makes sense. What's your
Right, like
definition?
that final piece of the puzzle, so now you can see the whole thing, or like whatever that last connection to make something click. Same. For me, it's kind of a mix of all of that. A turning point, exactly.
I like that.
So I kind of see like two parts to it. I see like definitely the realization of a new way forward, or maybe a realization of your full potential. And I also see it as a freedom from something that might have been holding you back. So I did look up the textbook definition of breakthrough, and it's actually quite interesting. There's a few different definitions. The first one was, or is, an act of overcoming an obstacle. So kind of like what we were saying in a way. Hi, Katie. Hi, Shahira. Welcome.
Somebody actually did say that somewhere.
Okay.
Nicklin said passing a threshold of something that was holding you back.
Exactly. Josh said a new development or perspective on something that was limiting you or keeping you stagnant. Exactly. So that's kind of how I see it also, as like a freedom, because you're like letting go of something. Another definition is a major achievement or success that permits further progress. And that one's interesting because that's kind of seeing it as a stepping stone. That yes, maybe the breakthrough was something amazing and a big moment of success, but it's just opened up the door for even more success. Yeah. So I really like that. And then the last definition comes from a different use of the word breakthrough. So it is defined as an offensive move to penetrate an enemy's defense. Because a lot of the examples were referring to different military things or like wars and history, and I've actually never really heard breakthrough used in that way. But it's kind of interesting to think about it being an offensive move to penetrate an enemy's defense. Because I think that's kind of what we were all saying, that I don't know, that one is something that I think I'm going to circle back to, because at first when I read that definition, I was like, that doesn't make sense. This is just, I almost didn't write it down. I was like, that's not relevant. But then to think about it, because an offensive move means that you are choosing to take that step. Like you're choosing to move past whatever limitations or whatever enemy defense that's there.
So I really like that, because something that was actually said at that convention was talking about, and I feel like this was not necessarily like a breakthrough, but something that really stuck with me was isolation is the enemy's playground. And depending on whatever you believe in, I feel like I like that definition because it's, I like that definition because it's choosing to move past whatever you see as the enemy, like choosing to move past that and still having a breakthrough, being able to still move forward and have that success that you were talking about in the previous definition.
Right, exactly. And like Josh said, like enemies being like a negative mindset or whatever it is. I feel like for me personally, a lot of breakthroughs that I've experienced have been different realizations of ways that I was limiting myself, or ways that I was having like a limited mindset. So, and most of my examples, the enemy is myself. So that's why it's also interesting to think about it in that way of like that battle within yourself to kind of move past whatever is in front of you and go beyond that.
The enemy was myself. I feel like that was really good. That was really good. It really it reminds me of that time where it's like, what's holding you back? Is it just you?
Exactly. Another question I have, which I think we kind of might have already answered from the first one, but do you think breakthroughs are positive or negative? And how necessary do you think breakthroughs are to achieve your goals?
So, and guys, answer that as well. Mind attracts energy, either positive or negative. Breakthrough could be seen as a step closer to your improved self. So I feel like, and especially based on all the answers that we're getting, I feel like breakthrough is always, at least for me, I always see it as a positive. It's that next step, and how you're talking about seeing that as a stepping stone to whatever success, whether it be, changing that negative mindset, or, a stepping stone to whatever success you're looking for, whether it be in your job, in your school, career. But I see that Shahira put, I think breakthroughs can come from a negative and positive scenario. And I feel like that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a breakthrough can very much come from a negative scenario. And I feel like sometimes the negative scenarios are placed in your life for that breakthrough. Ooh, we're getting so much interaction. Okay. Always positive. They take us through journeys which can be seen as negative, but ultimately for good. I love that. Depends on your perspective. Breakthrough might come in a negative way, but leads to positive. I love that everybody is saying that it can come from a negative way. And I think that leads back to one of my favorite affirmations that I say on every single live is literally the universe is always working in my favor. Everything is working in my favor. And I feel like when you can see that everything's working in your favor, the negative is always going to lead to the positive.
Right.
The Spanish translation, rompimiento, insinuates that something is being ripped off. Ooh. What about?
I love that. Yeah, because you really have to let go of things. And that's what I feel like if you think about the word breakthrough, it's literally saying to break through something. So to break through whatever limitations, whatever boundaries, or whatever's stopping you, and to let that go. So I definitely agree that breakthroughs always lead to something positive within your life. But I think where we might not always love experiencing a breakthrough is because it might not always be positive the entire time. Like some people are saying, is that it might come from a negative experience, or you might feel negatively along the way, but it's going to lead to a greater positive. I was reading something right before this, and it was talking about the 5 signs, or kind of like the 5 stages of a breakthrough. And the first stage is actually to break down. And I love that because I feel like you can see the evolution from going from a point of breaking down to breaking through that into something positive. Yes, Shahira, you got to get uncomfortable. Exactly. So the first part of the breakthrough is kind of like your low point, the breakdown. Maybe feeling really stuck, maybe feeling really negative, and that's probably the part where we don't even know we're in a breakthrough yet. And the part that can be hard in that moment to see the bigger picture, to see the positive that's coming. The second part is going to be loss. So it might be loss of a bad habit. It might be loss of friends or relationships, whether it's a loss for good or maybe just a temporary loss, because whatever is in the way of you and your growth and you and your goals, a loss of that. The third step, or the third part of the breakthrough process, is temptation. And I just never thought about a breakthrough in this way. But when I was reflecting, it makes a lot of sense. So once you've kind of gone through this low point and you realize that a breakthrough's coming, you're letting go of what's holding you back, those friendships, those bad habits, you're going to be tempted again. Whatever that bad habit was might get presented to you. Maybe you decided to stop going out on Friday nights and to stay in and work on your business, and it's Friday night and your friend who never goes out texted you and is like, hey, come out. You're going to be tempted. I know. We both talked about times that we've done that. So having that temptation and being able to say no to that temptation to continue forward on the path of the breakthrough. And then the fourth part is, like Shahira said, becoming uncomfortable. You can't grow if you're scared of growth, if you're scared of letting something go, if you're scared of getting uncomfortable. And then the fifth and final part of the breakthrough is kind of after you've gone all through that, what you might call a rough patch or that growing period, and you get to the point of having the breakthrough, which usually ends in some type of relief and release and a sense of peace and calm. And that is so relevant to a story that I'll tell later about one of the recent breakthroughs I've had. But that was just something I really wanted to share, because it's also really important, not just the breakthrough, but what we do with it. So once we have this breakthrough, are we going to take that into our life? Are we going to allow that to change our life? And I feel like looking at this process and being able to understand the whole cycle of the breakthrough, we can reflect on it more and really take our power with it. What does that make you think about?
So actually before this, so I feel like when we originally talking about breakthroughs, I was like, oh, I'm ready. I'm going to just talk about the breakthroughs that we had and how I feel different about that. But I did decide to listen to a TED Talk, because TED Talks are one of my favorites. And did you say you were going to talk about a breakthrough formula, or no?
I did write down 7 steps to a breakthrough, but I'd love to hear if you have something along the lines.
So he was talking about the breakthrough formula is vision plus inspiration plus innovation. So the fact that you said, what are we going to do with that breakthrough? Are you actually going to innovate and do something different? Or are you just going to have the breakthrough and have the breakthrough? And then at that point, is it really a breakthrough?
Ooh, is it even a breakthrough if you don't do anything with it? It's not. You're just going to stay in the same place. Oof.
Yes. And then where does that take you? But I feel like that was so relevant to me, because yes, you can have the vision, but then you need to be inspired, and then you need to actually do something with it. But literally when you were talking about the breakdown, I guess I didn't think about the fact that a lot of times to have a breakthrough, you do need to be broken down, or something that's inside you needs to be broken down. Can we correlate that to the emotional cycle of change? Ooh, I would like to know more about what you mean by the emotional cycle of change. I don't know if that's too much to type down.
I'm not sure when that came up in the chat either. So I don't know what part they were referring to.
That just happened, but and I feel like breakdown. Okay, you said breakdown, loss. I missed number 4. I'm taking notes.
I love it. It was breakdown, loss, temptation, become uncomfortable, and then the resolution and the peace.
Do you feel like you can get through a breakthrough? She said it's a lot.
Okay, we'll have to talk later. Maybe you'll be a special guest.
Yes, I was just thinking that. But do you think that, okay, do you feel like in order to go through a breakthrough, you need every single one of these steps no matter what? Like, do you feel like getting uncomfortable is necessary for a breakthrough? Not just that, but also, do you feel like overcoming temptation is something that you absolutely need for a breakthrough?
Not necessarily. No. Because I think we can have kind of life-altering breakthroughs, and I also think that we can have smaller scale breakthroughs. If we think about it as one of the definitions of a realization of a new way forward or a new solution to something we've been working on. So recently, when looking at the charts, a connection clicked, and I finally understood really how to read one indicator. And so that felt like a breakthrough, but that definitely didn't have all the steps. So I think if we're talking about like really something that is really going to change the course of your life or really change your mindset, then yes, it probably does have all those steps, even if we don't realize it. But I do think that we should also celebrate the small breakthroughs and not call them small, because they're equally as amazing. Anytime we have a new realization or a point of growth, it should be celebrated. So I don't think it necessarily has to follow the steps, but I think kind of knowing those different parts can help us to understand, especially if we're in the middle of it. Because let's say we're at the point of loss, and let's say it happens to be a bunch of friends that we're losing, and we don't know what's happening, and we're feeling super lonely. If we're able to pause and reflect and understand that this might be a journey of a breakthrough and of a big realization, then it can provide us some solace to keep going through that. What did the chat say? What kind of transformations do we experience after breakthrough? And do we believe life gets easier after that? Or do we continue to see our challenges and obstacles, I think is
He put seek after.
Or do we continue to seek out challenges and obstacles? And then Nicole said, I think a breakthrough can just be a changed state of mind. Absolutely. I agree. And I think that's also when maybe it doesn't follow something along that lines, because I also don't think it necessarily takes a breakdown for a breakthrough, but I think it's helpful to see every breakdown as a chance for a breakthrough. But I don't think you necessarily have to be in a super low point or be in a super negative place to have this breakthrough. It might just be a continuous journey up. Breakthrough is also defined as abrupt progress. That sudden understanding of the indicators was that progress. Exactly. So that's interesting, because that's kind of seeing it as just the point where all of this changes, where a bunch of things finally come together and you have that new moment. Oh my gosh, so many people have a lot to say.
I love it. Okay, Dime said, that's honestly life. Breakthroughs can be continuous the more you feed your mind, which I definitely agree with. And I prefer to continue to have breakthroughs because that means I'm constantly growing. You may not know you're in a breakdown until you get to the breakthrough. Yes. That is, I feel like, the biggest part. But something, hold on, who said it? Hold on. So Josh, when he was talking about, what kind of transformation do we experience after the breakthrough, and do we believe life gets easier after that? And I mean, I don't necessarily believe life gets easier, but at the same time, again, like kind of going back to, if you don't do anything with that changed state of mind, if you don't do anything with that breakthrough that came through, is it actually a breakthrough? Because yes, and I don't want to say life gets easier, because I don't think life gets easier. I just think we evolve. I think we learn how to deal with different things, and then you're always going to have obstacles. How people talk about new levels, new devils, or how many people say more money, more problems. I don't think it's necessarily more money, more problems. I think it's the same. Like, you're still going to have problems, but the size of your problems, there is something. Does that change?
Exactly. And I think it's about also being able to see the bigger picture and the bigger journey. Because one breakthrough I had this past weekend, I had a lot, but actually at the very end of the event, the last speaker, Tracity, had us close our eyes, and she was kind of walking us through a guided meditation to think about the different people or things that didn't believe in us or that were holding us back, and to fully let that go and to really step into our full potential. So that moment was like breakthroughs on top of breakthroughs on top of breakthroughs of really reflecting about the different things that was holding me back and the different limitations I was really causing for myself. And one thing is something that I have been experiencing the last few months with someone in my family. And there was a situation where I pretty much felt betrayed by this family member, and I couldn't even speak to anyone else in my family about it. And I was at a point where I was like, wow, is my relationship with this person in my family just ruined for the rest of my life? And I was just doing what I could to not even think about it. And we know that's not really ever a good answer, but I was doing what I could to not think about it the last few months. But also in these last few months, I have not seen the progress that I would desire in a lot of different places in my life. I have been feeling kind of like stuck and like there was something holding me back. And I've been reflecting so much. Is it something with my mindset? Do I not believe in myself? Like, what is it? And I realized that it's holding on to just different negativity. So even if this situation with my family member is not related to any of my business endeavors, because I'm still holding on to that little bit of negative, it's impacting everything else in my life. So in that moment, when we were releasing everything, I literally thought of the person in my head and I thought, okay, I forgive you. And I was like, wow, wow, because just a week ago, I was thinking I was never going to speak to them again, let alone ever really forgive them, because I felt like me forgiving them was me saying that what happened was okay, but it's not. It's just realizing that I want to let it go so I can keep growing with my life. So to relate this back to Josh's question, now that I did have that breakthrough that I want to forgive this person, I'm not going to say I fully forgive them, but I want to forgive this person and I want to be able to have a good relationship with them for the rest of my life. It's not easier yet. The work has just started. Now I'm going to actually have to reach back out to them and go through this stuff myself and with them, and honestly do more work than I would have had to do if I just kept not thinking about it. So I don't think the end of a breakthrough is always easier. I think sometimes it's just the beginning of a new journey forward that eventually is going to lead to greatness and lead to things being easier, because now I'm not going to have that negativity in my heart. And now a few years later, we're going to be great and it's going to be beautiful. But right now, it's not that. So I think it doesn't necessarily always make things easier right away, but it just gives you that ability to actually make a change and to make that change in your life. The entire time I was speaking, the chat was going crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too. I'm like, yes, I love this.
We're here.
Yeah, you're here.
Okay. Okay, Josh said, I feel like just the realization that progress needs to be made in a certain area can be a breakthrough. Sometimes we are not even aware that a change or progress needs to be made, and just coming to that realization can be enlightening in itself. Absolutely, and that's definitely like the first thing necessary. Yes, about forgiveness. Exactly. Forgive and forget.
Ooh, that's a good question. Forgive and forget, or just forgive? I feel like I have an answer to that, but how do you feel about that?
Forgiveness is so powerful, and it does have a hold on us, even when we don't even know it. And actually, someone I love very much, Ash, her Instagram is Ash Impacts. She actually did a whole Instagram live talking about the power of forgiveness. So more on that topic, you guys should go listen to her. But to be honest, I think forgive and forget. Now, not forget in the way of if someone's done you wrong, that you're going to let them keep doing you wrong, but forget in the way that you fully let it go. Because people love to say, oh yeah, I forgave them, but still feel angry when they think about the situation.
It's letting go of that feeling in your heart. And literally, I've heard this at both conventions, both Super Saturday and I Am Woman. And I think C. John said it at I Am Woman, but another Super Saturday. And it was earth and heart have the same exact letters. What's manifesting in your heart is going to be on earth. So if you're still holding that resentment, what's going to manifest in your real life?
Exactly. And that's where it comes down to like the deeper energy that you're bringing into your life. Because that's what I was saying. This situation with that family member was causing me that resentment. So then is that why I wasn't getting any sales on my store? Because that resentment was coming back to me that way?
Wow, I love add that together to your store. And I love how, so I feel like I knew that our breakthroughs would be a little bit different because we were both heart coherence. If you know, you know. I feel like I knew our breakthroughs would be a little bit different because we were at the same convention, the same I Am Woman event, but I've been in the business for almost 2 years now, and I know you've been doing this a little bit less time, but I love how the same situation brought us a different breakthrough. And I think we had already kind of talked about this before, but I think sometimes we also need to forgive people that they don't even know they hurt us. And I think that's a little bit harder to, not hard, but we previously talked about how there's a lot of people where she was saying anybody that doubted you, anybody who said that, you couldn't do this. But I feel like I had so much, and it wasn't even like, I mean, I guess it's a negative thought, but like, I feel like there was so many times where different people, it wasn't just one person, had said certain things to me where I was like, ooh, like maybe I'm not this, or maybe I'm not doing enough here, or maybe I'm not doing this in the right way. But I think the beautiful thing about life and also being a part of that I Am Woman event and being a part of, I Am, is that everything is done. There's a blueprint, but everything is done differently. And I feel like for a long time, I was like, damn, am I not doing enough? Damn, am I not the person I'm supposed to be to get here? But listening to each and every single person that was up on that stage, they all had a different story. They all had a different way to get to where it was they were going. And to be able to forgive those people that maybe they knew that there was some kind of, like, maybe they knew they said something to me that may have hurt me. Maybe they never thought about it again after they said it. But to be able to think of those people and be able to let that go without even having that conversation. How many times do we think, oh, I need closure? I need to be able to talk to them about it. They need to know that they hurt me. And to just be able to let go and know that whatever it is that I'm here and meant to do, whoever it is that I'm meant to impact, and something that every single woman spoke about, they were talking about Esther in the Bible. And I had heard the story so many times, but do you hear the train?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's really loud and it's right next door. But I was born for such a time as this. Like, why not me? Why not now? Why not? Like, and maybe those, I don't know, like maybe there was something else that I needed to put in my head. But how many times does somebody tell us something that hurts us that we keep in our minds that we don't even know has now become a part of our narrative? Exactly where I was at. I was letting other people's thoughts of me, what other people said of me, define who I am. And you can decide who you are. Like, I think the beautiful thing about life is that you can start over every single freaking day, and you can create who you are. You can exactly who you want to be. And I got all of that from that same thing that Chastity had us do. So shout out to her.
Yes, that was such a beautiful moment. And one of my favorite things that Bree said this past weekend was, all you have is all you need.
Yes.
Well, what?
Yes.
That is something that I struggled with for a really long time, was just feeling enough. Feeling like I was enough for whatever situation, anywhere it is. So to think that literally all you have is all you need, that's amazing. And I feel like the only way you can really embody that is to let go of that self-doubt and let go of those limiting beliefs of yourself. But it's interesting you said that you were allowing different things that other people were putting on you to kind of like define you and to create your story. Because I was reading actually a Tony Robbins article about how you can create a breakthrough in your life. And he said you can either change your strategy to change your result, you can change your story to change your life, or you can change the state of your being to change everything. And he said the state of your being is your mindset. It is the understanding and awareness you have of yourself. It is really if you have the desire, because that's the other huge part of the breakthrough, is that in order to actually see the positives through the breakthrough, you have to have the desire to want to be growing in life and to be evolving and to be leveling up and to be getting uncomfortable. Because if not, then I don't know, a breakthrough does have a potential to maybe push you down the other way if you're not strong enough and you don't have the desire for it to be positive.
She said, say that one more time.
Which part, Ruby? I was flowing. I don't even know what I said.
I think it was the Tony Robbins part.
Okay, Tony Robbins, yes. He said, if you change your strategy, you change your result. If you change your story, you change your life. If you change your state of being, you change everything. Did you get it that time? I'll text you it if not.
Or actually, I was going to say, or you could rewatch the recording.
Yeah, Ruby, go back and rewatch this.
I didn't know if you were done, so I'm going to let you finish.
I'm finished.
I feel like that also goes back to changing your narrative. Like, what is that story? But when you said change your being, ooh, like, I feel like there's so much that is ingrained in us, all around us, whether it be now or from the time. And I think somebody at some point in the comments, I don't know at what point it was, but it's the awareness that negative thought or that negative mindset or that thought that is hindering us is even there.
Mm-hmm.
And what are we doing to change that? Oh, thank you. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff going on in here.
Exactly. That awareness is the first, definitely the first necessary part, I think, to anything that we talk about, to anything about self-growth, is that reflection into yourself and having that awareness of understanding. And there was another thing I read also walking me through how to create a breakthrough in your life. And that was one of the first points, was to analyze your story so far and then to make a decision to either continue that story or to change something about it.
Mm-hmm. So, a shout out to Maya. She had said something. You said decide. And she broke down the word decide. And she was like, when you think pesticide, it's to kill off something. And when you decide, there is something about you, something in your life that you have to decide to kill off and let go. Yeah, yes. And when she said that, I was like, wow, like when you make a decision to do something, you just have to literally decide. Like, just make that and just whatever it is that's holding you back, just run towards it full force. But how many of us are actually making a decision and running towards it full force? And something that Leanne Donoso had said that I had written down that was a really big thing for me was, how long will you put off what you're capable of doing just to maintain what you're currently doing? Wow. And something else that she said, we talked about getting uncomfortable and getting out of your comfort zone. And I think it's easier said than done. Like, you got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. We've all heard it. Or you have to step out of your comfort zone to be able to get to where you want to be. We've all heard it. But something she said was, are you really that scared? Are you really that scared to step out of your comfort zone? But why can't we be more scared to not live up to our full potential?
What? Exactly. It should be scary to think about not doing that. Like, oh, can you go ahead and say that again, Steph?
Yeah. How long will you put off what you're capable of doing just to maintain what you're currently doing?
And I love that, because I remember when she said that and I was like, oh, but I don't want to maintain this. When you think about maintaining something, you think about continuing something that you like, or I don't know, like going to the gym, maintaining your workouts. Right now, I haven't been going to the gym, so I'm not on it. I've kind of temporarily lost some gains that I did have, so I don't want to maintain this habit of not going to the gym. What? So it should be more scary, like you said, to think about like never working out again than it is to think about going back to the gym for the first day.
Yes, and who would you be if you never, like, I love that example. Who would you be if you never went to the gym again? What does that 10-year version of you look like?
Not good. We don't want to see her.
I feel like that is the scarier part. Like, are we more scared to not be who we want to be than to stay who we are?
Wow. I think some breakthroughs are probably happening from whoever is listening to this live right now and whoever might be watching it later, because, wow, when you really think about things in those ways and when you ask yourself those questions, like, yes, exactly, it makes you want to get back to the gym. Perspective drives performance. That's interesting. We are really coming up. What are you about to say?
Go for it. No. I was like, that is really true, though.
Yeah.
What is your perspective on things?
Breakthroughs going to the gym, yes. We are coming up on 45 minutes. So before we say our last things that we have to say, I am about to pull out a whiteboard. I'm about to draw something for everyone that is definitely related. It's not specific to breakthroughs, but I think it shows the importance of a breakthrough. So that was one of the first things I said, was how important do you think a breakthrough is for growth, or for you to have the ability to accomplish your goals. And this chart is about to show you how important a breakthrough is.
Oh, I'm excited.
So I practiced drawing this backwards so it can be the right way for you guys. So we have our chart, and we have action on this line, and we have mindset on this line. Make that look a little bit better.
She said Stacy Imonitie.
And over here, we have a low amount transitioning to a high amount. So just like a normal graph, it starts low in the corner, it goes higher up here, it starts low over here, and it goes higher up here. So when we think about people, we can all be put into one of 4 quadrants on this chart. The first quadrant are these people who have a low mindset and take low action. And these people are the followers. They're just going to follow what's laid out to them. They might also be called employees. So we have that. And then if we transition to a low mindset but a high amount of action, we have this quadrant of people, and they are the producers. They are the people who are all about productivity, getting that action in, but they still have a low mindset. So they still need someone to kind of give them the plan, but then they're willing to do it. Next, we have those who have a low amount of action, but a high mindset. And these are the dreamers. These are the people who love thinking about the vision and the goals and wrote out all their goals, but maybe they haven't even accomplished one yet, and we're 2 months into the year. And then the fourth and final quadrant of a high mindset and high amount of action is the achievers. And this is where everyone wants to be. These are the people who dream it, and then they go out and produce it, and they do it. And the only way that you can break out of these, literally, it's a line holding you here. And the only way that you're able to break through and then keep breaking through all the way to become an achiever is by having different breakthroughs in life.
Wow.
That's what I have to say.
Wow, that was so good. I literally, I even lost my page of what I was going to say because I went to go write this down because that was really, really good. I feel like I just had a breakthrough, to be honest. Wow.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everybody who's being so interactive. You hear that? In order to go to the next level, you need breakthroughs, period.
Period. Yeah.
Yes, that
level
was
up.
So good. Oh, wow. Thank you for that. I feel like that should be like a whole little video on its own. I love y'all. Thank you for always feeding the mind.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for always tuning in, Shahira. Yeah, honestly, I think it's something, to be honest, I only learned today. So I really would love to dive into that whole perspective of those 4 quadrants more, because I think we move around through all of them. When I think about my own life, I think about how I go through different periods of being in each different quadrant. And I think that's a beautiful thing, but it would be amazing to be able to stay an achiever, to be able to stay with the high mindset and high amount of action.
What do you think you need? Obviously, high action and high mindset. But what do you think we need to be able to stay high action and high mindset, or to be able to stay in that achiever's quadrant? And that's just a random question that came to mind.
I think that's the breakthrough I'm waiting for.
Okay, all right. I feel you, though. I feel like I do shift through some of the quadrants. And I feel like there can be times where we can have high both mindset and action. And I mean, speaking on, Diamond said environment. Yes. Diamonds, if you weren't on our last live, you should definitely go on our last one, because on our last live, we talk about environment. So shout out to you for saying that. She said environment, mindset, and language. Language. Ooh. Yes.
Purpose for mindset. Yes. And then work ethic for action.
Ooh. Wow. Thank you guys for all this feedback, because this is spot on. And I feel like having the feedback helps me be able to go through that conversation as well, and those breakthroughs. Where did I put this? All right, sorry.
It's okay. The comments are lit. I wish the comments were there when you saved the live, but
I know, me too. I was just thinking that. But seriously, thank you for that breakdown. And Josh said every live needs to have pictures, and that was so good.
Thank you. Honestly, at first I wanted to write out the full words, but writing the full words backwards, how to do the letters.
It was really perfect.
But do you have any last thoughts or any last example of a recent breakthrough you want to share?
Yes. So same from Leanne. I feel like she said a lot of things that really stuck in my head. But sometimes I feel like when she said, are you that scared to get out of that comfort zone, is, do you want people to feel sorry for you? Do you want people to feel sorry for you because you went through that, whatever it is, whatever that breakdown is? Do you want people to feel sorry for you because you went through whatever you went through, or be inspired by you for overcoming? And I feel like that's a lot of where my breakthroughs stem from as well, is because somebody else overcame, so now I want to overcome. And on one of the last, or on that TED Talk that I was talking about, that I was listening to, talking about breakthrough, he said, because I've had a breakthrough, I want to have others have that breakthrough as well. Maya Angelou said, when we know better, we can do better. So when we're having those breakthroughs, we want to share those breakthroughs. And I feel like that's why we're here. That's why we're on these lives. That's why we share our thoughts, so other people can grow alongside with us. And yeah, that's kind of my final thoughts.
Exactly. I love that. Josh said this whole call was a breakthrough, and I love that too. And that's yeah, that is the point. And just to have that domino effect of breakthroughs. And 2 pages of notes. I love it. And to be willing and ready and happy for the next breakthrough that we're going to have. And like you said, to share that, to help others have the same. Especially if it's something that can relate to others. And we went through that whole experience, like, let's help others kind of jump through it. So I love that. My final thing to say is, when you think you've gone as far as you can, keep going.
I love that.
And with that, thank you so much to everyone who tuned into this live. You guys were on fire today. We have to get some of you guys as guests up here, because a lot of y'all have a lot of value to give as well. So thank you for tuning in and being on this journey of self-growth with Steph and I. And thank you, Steph, as always, because I could not do these without you.
Yes, thank you always for being on this and for providing new insights always. And thank you for everyone who interacted today. And I hope you guys are on next Thursday, because I love the interaction. I love all the input. And some of the things that you guys said were very helpful for me. So thank you. And thank you always, Stacey. I appreciate you so, so much, and grateful for you and everybody who hopped on this live.
Me too. So much gratitude. Have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. See you guys next.